Today is Sunday, November the 14th. Armistice Day was the 11th of November, so that was Thursday last week. And we're at our favourite spot again to check out our peacocks. Specifically, we've come to check out the female peacock that I saw the other day with, she'd started nesting and there was just one egg laid. This is the Peacock Valley we were in last Sunday. There's the track. So just around that corner there should be where that hen's nesting. Now we've come at it from a slightly different angle today. We've come around the top of it rather than into the side of it. But we'll have a look-see about and see what's happening in here today. There you go. That's what peacock nesting looks like. Yeah, we're underneath the tota trees here. And how many eggs has she got? 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 10 eggs there. Anyway, she's taken off. We'll get out here quietly. With a bit of luck, she'll come back to them. The surprising thing is that there's actually no or very little cover underneath these tota trees, which surprised me. I would have thought she'd be in closer cover than that, but she's not. She's literally right there on a ledge. Now that's another hen I've disturbed, and I suspect that she's come out of either that little clump there or maybe this little clump here. Again, I'm quite surprised because there's a little bit of overhead cover there, but I wouldn't consider this to be overhead cover to keep the hawks away. Anyway, there's probably, if I go looking, I'll probably find another dozen nests along the side here and among this rubbish. Oh, an egg here. That's a bit disappointing. Here, she didn't come back. Well, that's a shame. It's a great shame. Yeah, the egg's still intact. Egg's somewhat bigger than a hen's egg. First observation is I've seen no hens on the ground in the open at all. I've seen hens on the ground, but they're all on nest sites where I've disturbed them off their nest. It's a lot quieter than it was last week. There's still cockbirds calling, but the frequency of their calling is much less than what it was last week. Now if you're of a mind to shift peacocks from one place to another, re-establish some territory for these peacocks in a different area, and you've got an egg incubator, now would be the time to fossick around in areas like this, in the closed cover, and attempt to find nests that the hens are sitting on. Then you can gather the eggs up and put them in an incubator, and in about a fortnight to 3 weeks, when they hatch, you can then raise those chicks until they're able to look after themselves, and then you can repopulate another area with peacocks. Now, if you've got a pest control problem, the most viable way of making a significant dent in the population is not by targeting cockbirds. You target hens. Now you can target hens during the winter. During the winter months they'll actually be with cockbirds, but they'll be roosting in trees. So if you're out in the evening and you discover where the roost trees are, then you can come back and visit them a little bit later, and when it's a little bit darker, because you'll see them right on twilight taking to their roost. Come back when it's thoroughly dark, and then you can shoot with them with a spotlight. Now this time of the year, of course, the hens are on nests, so you can still target the hens this time of the year, and one would argue it's actually much more effective this time of the year. All you need is a good bird dog, somebody who's practiced at hunting upland game like pheasants and quail, and all you need to do is get your dog out in these areas here, and the dog will point for you, or flush the birds off the nest, and then you can engage them with a shotgun. And then of course once the hen's been eliminated, then the chicks aren't going to hatch. They're not going to incubate, and they're not going to hatch. If you just leave the eggs where they are, of course, then the predators will get the eggs. And arguably that's one of the fastest ways to make a big dent in the population. Anyway, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to just practice my field skills. Today's been very interesting because the cockbirds are not with the hens. They're all well separated, the cockbirds. They're not calling very much. And the cockbirds I've come across have all flushed from elevated positions in trees. Now I don't quite know why they're in elevated positions in trees, but of course they're in a tree like that. They've got a very good overwatch position. It makes shooting them with a rifle somewhat problematic, because when they're in a tree like that, there's a good chance you don't have a backstop. And yeah, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to hunt them when they're doing that. Now these birds, these cockbirds will, in my experience, they'll hold on to their feathers, their long tail feathers. They'll keep them well into the new year. Now the hens, of course, they'll sit on their eggs. I believe the incubation time is about 3 weeks. And then they'll have tiny chicks, and they won't take them in the open either initially, because the hawks will target them, so they will try to stay in cover, somewhere where the hawks can't hunt them, and until they're big enough, and then you'll see and they're a little more, when the chicks are a little more able to take care of themselves, you'll start to see them make an appearance in the open. Just at the moment, it appears as though all the hens have disappeared. Oh, here's me thinking that'd be a great spot for a nest. And what actually happens? A hen bird just came out from in there and headed across and disappeared in there before I could get my camera out. And there's the boyfriend hooting at me. Oh, there he goes. He's way up there. So I think nesting's well and truly started. And I strongly suspect there's one over here. Just in among that clump there somewhere, or perhaps even a little bit further down.